Most people think money is lost in obvious moments, a bad decision, a risky move, a clear mistake, something you can point to and say, that's where it went wrong. But for most people, that moment never comes. Money is rarely lost all at once. It doesn't collapse. It doesn't disappear dramatically. It fades, quietly, gradually, almost politely, through habits that feel normal, through choices that don't feel urgent, through days where nothing seems wrong. There's no alarm, no warning, just a slow shift from progress to pause, from movement to maintenance. And by the time the loss becomes visible, it no longer feels preventable. From the outside, life appears stable. Income is consistent, expenses feel manageable. Nothing feels out of control. Bills are paid on time, responsibilities are met, there's food in the fridge, plans on the calendar. Money isn't growing rapidly, but it isn't disappearing either. And that middle ground feels safe. It feels responsible. You tell yourself you're doing fine. Not perfect, but fine. There's no pressure forcing reflection, no crisis demanding change, so money becomes background noise, something handled automatically. You glance at numbers occasionally, but rarely sit with them, because sitting with them would require attention, and attention feels unnecessary when nothing feels broken. The loss begins in small moments, choosing convenience over awareness, comfort over curiosity, spending without thinking deeply, avoiding questions that feel tedious, postponing decisions because they feel heavy. You don't reject better options, you just don't pursue them. You tell yourself you'll look at it later, when there's more time, when things feel clearer. And each time, the choice feels harmless. It doesn't feel irresponsible, it feels practical. After all, nothing bad happens immediately. So the pattern repeats. Small decisions made quickly stack on top of one another. Not enough to cause pain today, just enough to shape tomorrow. Psychologically, money loss rarely comes from ignorance. Most people understand the basics. They know what they should do. The issue isn't knowledge, it's avoidance. Looking closely at money creates discomfort. It forces trade-offs. It raises questions about priorities. And those questions don't have easy answers, so the mind looks for relief. Relief comes from routine, from familiarity, from continuing what already feels normal. The brain prefers stability over optimization, because optimization requires effort, and effort introduces uncertainty. So instead of making one difficult decision, people make hundreds of easy ones. Easy decisions feel light. They don't challenge identity, they don't threaten comfort, but easy decisions rarely lead to growth. They maintain the present, quietly. Over time, the effects become visible, not as loss, but as stagnation. Savings don't grow, options feel limited, opportunities feel distant. You're not falling behind dramatically, you're just not moving forward. And that's harder to notice, because nothing breaks, nothing demands attention. Money doesn't vanish, it simply fails to compound. Years pass, and what could have expanded remained still, not because of one bad decision, but because of many small ones that felt too insignificant to question. The realization arrives quietly, not with panic, not with shame, with clarity. You see that money wasn't lost suddenly, it was leaked slowly, through comfort, through inattention, through postponement. You weren't reckless, you weren't careless, you were passive. And passivity has a cost, even when it feels harmless. Money reflects attention. Where attention goes, value grows. Where attention fades, opportunity shrinks. Money rarely leaves in dramatic moments. It leaves quietly, through habits left unexamined, through decisions delayed rather than made. The danger isn't spending too much, it's thinking too little. Because money doesn't just respond to effort, it responds to awareness, and awareness requires discomfort. The quiet way people lose money is the same way they lose direction, not through failure, but through comfort. Comfort tells you nothing needs to change, that tomorrow will look like today, until one day, change becomes expensive because it was delayed too long. Not choosing felt safe, waiting felt responsible. But time doesn't reward hesitation, it compounds attention, or the lack of it. And over time, that difference becomes impossible to ignore.